got it. Hello and good morning from Bobasan, Mauritius. I forgot what country I was in for a second. Going to spend the day in Port Louis. I think that's the bus over there. Maybe there are others. I don't even know. We'll see how it goes. Nice man, didn't ask his name, but he told me about the Natural History Museum, which is this over here. And gave me a few other tips. He was also, it's so sad because like I feel like my French is okay, but I'm still kind of floating because I can't understand every single word. So I'm kind of having like half conversations, even though I think that what I do know how to speak, I pronounce well. So people just like fall into their natural French speaking. So I have to I just ask people to repeat themselves a lot. It's hard. I'm out of practice. But yeah, let's go to a museum or a cafe, whichever we bump into first because I'm hungry and I also need to charge my vlogging camera. Let's do it. I don't know why my SIM card's not working, so I can't put on data and really Google stuff. Somebody's yodeling. I don't know. There's yodeling. I don't know. I saved a few places, and I think that I know the general direction of Chinatown, which means great food, I believe. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to take a few pictures of this building because I love a colorful building. Let's see. So here we are. Chinatown, I think, is this way. Actually, I don't know anymore. Oh my god. I'm looking like this. So I think I go behind me. Let's see. Overload. I've just pinched off onto a side street because like anywhere else you never ever buy anything on the main street of any of these like attraction type places. It's where people live and work, but it's still an attraction. So I'm off to find some good cheap food. We'll see what happens. I was kind of carrying on with my roaming around in Chinatown, and then this really sweet elderly man stopped me because he had seen my camera, and he asked, "Hey, are you a photographer? Can you take a photo of me?" And he was wheeling this little trolley type thing that looked like it might be a cool box or something, and like straightened himself up, and I took some full-length shots of him just like in this little street where we had met. And then I was like trying to figure out with him in French, so where do I send it? Do you have WhatsApp? He's like, no, none of that. I was like, email? He's like, no. I'm like, do you have children that I can maybe send them to? They're like, no. So I'm like, okay, can you write down for me like where I can send this to? And he fully like wrote me an address, like a postal address. It's like, yeah, you can send the pictures here. So I said, all right, cool, thank you. And then tried to ask him where I can get something to eat. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a à manger bien ici? Où je peux manger? Là? Mais c'est les glaces, c'est les So I hopped into this little restaurant and had veg dumplings and jasmine tea. And then as I was paying, the guy at the till had a tattoo on his neck that said Anna. And when I asked him who Anna was, he said it was his girlfriend. And then I asked, does Anna have your name tattooed on her as well? And he said yes, which I was not expecting. And so we spoke a little bit more. Him and the rest of the people at the checkout were taking their guesses on where I was from based on my all over the place accent. Didn't get it right, of course. But eventually, I told them and I paid for my meal and went on my way. This day spent walking around Port Louis was one of my favorite days, actually, in my whole 2 weeks I spent in Mauritius, because of all the random encounters I had and conversations I had with people who were all really cool and interesting and helped me out a lot as far as like if I needed advice on where to go or just generally just chatting with other human beings about human being things. And I remember sharing this, just like snapshots of this day on my Instagram stories, and a couple of people saying it's really nice to see just like a city in Mauritius, like a city center and business being done and stuff, because of course you just think about beaches and rich people on their honeymoons. And this was one of the places that has been for me such obvious proof of how the people make the place. Nature is beautiful and amazing, but the people who make art and music and food and buildings and just social structures, they're the whole essence of a place. It seems obvious when you say it, but like it's very unlikely that you really experience a place without treating the people like individuals, and seeing them in that way, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's been nice to go back and remember this trip.